A huge shift just happened in the American healthcare system and American culture, really. I just got back from the gym, but I just had to do this video. Did you see the announcement? Those of you that don't know, I am an integrative family practice physician. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor. I'm also a licensed RN. And in my medical practice, I practice integrative medicine. Now, if somebody wants to get a vaccine, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine. But if someone wants to learn about it, I will tell them all my concerns. And the announcement the Trump administration made today, along with RFK Jr., Dr. Oz, and a pediatrician, other doctors, moms, etc., have finally it's mainstream. They have come forward. I've always been concerned about the toxicity of Tylenol and the toxicity of giving multiple vaccines to a child at once. Out of convenience, for example, with the MMR vaccines, they put measles, mumps, rubella in one shot. Okay, so now your body's immune system has to deal with 3 different types of viruses. Plus, they'll give the varicella, also known as the chickenpox vaccine, on the same day as the MMR. When I get kids' records that come to me from another doctor, they will not only get all those vaccines, they'll go ahead and give them their Hep B, the DPT, the polio. DPT, by the way, is diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus, all on the same day. That, anybody that knows anything about health, is bonkers. I would never recommend that. Now, with my first child, I didn't know as much. I just didn't. So he got the normal vaccine schedule. With my second child, though, I've done everything as spread out as possible. I wish that they could separate out MMR. The new recommendations are if their child is under 4 years old, they're not going to let them get the MMR and the varicella all at the same time anymore. I I am just so excited. Literally, the ground moved today in the earth. I don't know if you felt it. It's the American cultural shift. It's so wild because, like, since what happened with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I feel like the culture has moved. Everything is shaken up. And I think it's woken up a lot of people to right versus wrong, evil versus good, and what we're doing to our children, pushing toxic chemicals like Tylenol or acetaminophen. Yeah. Now, why? You all know if you take too much Tylenol, you'll end up in the hospital with a failing liver and you might die from shutting down your liver. We would give an IV drip called NAC, N-acetylcysteine, or Mucomist. We give that in an IV drip, and or was it called Mucomist? I know it was N-acetylcysteine anyway, which could reverse the effects and save someone's life. That's how toxic Tylenol is. And I always knew about, like, a baby or a young child that was given Tylenol with a high fever when they were young, especially right after a vaccine. It always worried me, and I knew there was a connection, but everyone kept poo-pooing it down, especially in medicine. It's like, if you even suggest, like, maybe we should do one vaccine at a time, you're an anti-vaxxer. It's just been really weird. But I think now that it's in the mainstream, I swear the ground moved today. The ground moved today. Now, everyone's getting caught up, and I'm sure, gosh, can you imagine the Tylenol company, what they're thinking right now? They're probably like, oh my gosh, because literally Trump was saying, do not take Tylenol. But pregnant women I don't think should take any medication unless they absolutely have to, like for their thyroid, of course, and if they have diabetes and things like that. But as far as taking something you don't absolutely need, like a Tylenol, yeah, it's just not a good idea. And I'm glad it's now mainstream. Do not take Tylenol if you're pregnant. Wow. Now again, was there autism before Tylenol? Yeah, yes, and I do think you combine vaccines with mercury, aluminum, then they get a fever, then you give Tylenol. It's this huge toxic soup. You're going to end up with some neurologic problems. Just like when someone's exposed to pesticide, they get neurologic problems. I mean, that can happen with people that work on golf courses. You give the body too much toxicity, they end up with, like, ALS, dementia, Alzheimer's like symptoms, and in babies and children presents as autism, right? So I know that they're going to talk more about what vaccines are doing when you're giving way too much. They got to get the chemicals out of those vaccines. They got to get the mercury and aluminum out. So I do think it's a combination of all the toxic soup. But I guess the main part of this video, and by the way, thank you so much for being here, is it's just my this is my wheelhouse when I'm working to detoxify people and looking at their medication and supplement list, and kind of getting to the root cause of like why you're having brain fog, why you're having joint pain. I mean, this is what I deal with all the time. And I love that this is finally mainstream. Like, yeah. Now, if you're an adult and you don't have a lot of issues, taking a Tylenol here and there, yeah, it does help with pain. I'm not saying that I mean, I don't personally take Tylenol. I don't. I try to do everything else I can for pain management. Um, yeah. So I just think it's the tip of the iceberg that they're going to go after all the companies that made a ton of money on the backs of really causing illness in people. I mean, did you see the announcement? Did you feel the cultural shift? I think things are going in the right direction. I really do, because I just am so worried that the rates of autism are skyrocketed. And it's only in the last 25 years, which, okay, what is that? In the year 2000. So since the year 2000, the rates of autism, especially in boys, has increased fivefold. Yeah, it's just, and I see it too, because again, I work in healthcare and I have never, I mean, there's just so many kids with autism now. And I thought it was interesting in his announcement that he said in California, it's 1 in 12 boys have autism. What I think about that is, and I know people that have moved to Arizona because they mandate vaccines there. I don't know if that's part of it or because there's regions of toxicity because of all the pesticides they've used in California, because of all the citrus and the farming. Is that part of it too? There was a huge push to get everyone vaccinated in California. I honestly don't know what the answer is to that, but I think the good news is being mindful of the chemical soup that you're surrounded with, and that the president talked about it. I mean, I'm giddy. I'm giddy that he said that. Now, I know a lot of people are going to make fun of him, and everyone's going to say he's saying don't take Tylenol, but it's like, we've got to do something about this epidemic of autism, and the cultural shift is huge. And, and the other thing too is because I'm trying to think of like why that happened to Charlie Kirk. It was evil. It was terrible. He should have never been assassinated. But look at all the people it has woken up to, like, what is going on with our country? Why are people killing each other over ideas? We have never been so divided, probably since the Civil War, right? It's wild. And to me, like, I've always been on the side of like the war on harming our kids and causing illness and disease. Like, that's always been my thing. And so for me, it's like, I think this has woken up to people to like, oh, but my doctor said it was okay. But there's a lot of things that aren't okay that your doctor may say is okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I always try to look at the good that's coming out of all the bad news we've had lately, with that poor girl getting killed on what it was, a light rail, like in North Carolina or whatever. And we're not going to forget that. We're not going to forget that happened to that poor girl. Well, I'm not making any excuses for her killer, but obviously mental illness, and he was arrested 14 times. Like, this has got to stop. We cannot have dangerous people out on the street. And I think the earth moved that day when that girl was killed. The school shooting in Colorado, Charlie Kirk, and today with the announcement of what is going on with autism. I think the earth is moving a huge shift. Yeah. So, and it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle is. That's so like reductionist, and it's not even like thinking deeply about things. So no, it's about really opening your mind and look at what's going on around you, right? So I think the earth moved today. It really did. Thank you for being here. Comment below. Are you just, and I'm sorry, I'm a little sweaty. Because I'm trying to go back to the gym and work out. And uh, yeah, I want to return to playing pickleball. I've just been out of it for a while and need to get back into it. So anyway, but I had to talk about this because, oh, and I will keep talking about, like, as they keep coming out and saying, um, what else is on the list of toxic soup and what other vaccines do we know that we shouldn't be given? Because I've talked about that a lot on this channel already. Thanks, everyone. Hope you're having a good night, and I'll see you soon.